All right, everyone. So welcome to another episode of Menopause March Madness. I'm your girl, Carlika Katrina Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. And of course, we have an amazing guest with us on today, Miss Nicole. She is a trichologist, and you probably like, girl, what you just say? Look, she gonna let you all know all of the things that you're probably wondering. Menopause March Madness. What is this all about? Well, millions of women are in menopause, okay? And if you're a woman, eventually you're going to get there too. And you may not have any symptoms. You may have all the symptoms. I pray that you don't. But you may even experience hair loss, hair thinning. And I know you all want to keep them edges. You want thicker hair. You want longer hair. You want, all the baddie hairstyles and all of the things. And so we want to bring in experts who are like, let me give you some tips. Let me know what you can do now, even if you're not in menopause, even if you're experiencing some hair thinning or hair loss, right? And if you're like me and you like wearing your wigs and all this stuff, you want to be cute and cool all at the same time, because sometimes you might want to, I ain't going to snatch it off up here, okay, Nicole? But if I get a real bad hot flash, I have snatched a wig off in the car, y'all, okay?
That's right.
The passenger seat, sit right there, okay? So, Nicole, welcome, and thank you for joining me on Menopause March Madness. And just tell everyone who you are, what you do, all the things.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlika, for letting me be on this platform with you. So, again, my name is Nicole Shemwell. I am your trichologist. And like Carlika said, listen, what a trichologist is someone that helps people that are suffering from hair loss and scalp disorders. So I'm like the middle person between a dermatologist and a cosmetologist. So not only can I help you with your scalp, but I can help you strengthen your hair as well. So I am so happy to be on this platform to talk about it.
Look, and it's real because that's one of the symptoms that a lot of people you don't hear. We hear about the hot flashes, we hear about the weight gain, we hear about the decreased libido, we hear some people have burning tongue and joint pain and all of these things, but a lot of people don't really learn about our hair and how we can help thicken it or how we can prevent or if we're in those stages. And so I was just like, you know what, let me get my girl up here because this ain't my expertise, but we're going to bring you the expert in the field. And so, Nicole, let us in a little bit of your menopausal journey. What has that been like for you? Any symptoms? Did you have the knowledge? Like, did your mama tell you about menopause?
No, she did not tell me about menopause. So I'm not on that menopause, but I did have I had a hysterectomy. So because of the hysterectomy, and I just recently had it, so I don't know what comes with all that yet. But I will say a lot of my clients that do have menopause, they're basically their body is imbalanced. So they're not taking the proper nutrients, they're not taking the supplements, they're not taking the things that they may be deficient in, which can cause hair loss.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is good. Y'all, I hope y'all got your notebook out, okay? Because you already dropping. And so I can definitely relate to a total hysterectomy. I had one at the age of 30. So
Mm,
well over 13, 14 years ago.
yeah.
And it literally changed my life. And though I didn't have like symptoms like the same day,
Yeah.
I woke up like that. Okay. I woke up without my ovaries. I woke up without my uterus and my cervix.
Yes.
I left the hospital. I couldn't say, hey, can you bring me back to my ovaries, please?
Right.
And so for some women, you may not experience any symptoms. And
Yeah.
they may not come till later because the weight gain that I started seeing, it didn't come to years later.
Wow.
I was still size double zeros, okay?
Wow.
After three children.
Okay.
So
Listen.
it
Yeah.
wasn't till, oh God, I want to say like my daughter was in high school.
Yeah.
So the weight gain I started experiencing was, I'm talking about years later. And so all of the certain
Mhm.
symptoms don't come right away. They don't hit us head on. But I do believe that the more educated we are, then even before we get to menopause, whether it
Mhm.
is surgically, medically, through chemo, or through naturally through perimenopause, I feel like if we have the education, even when it comes to our hair, right? Because a lot of us don't even know how our hair really grow, right? Like
Mhm.
back in the day, when I see people like had their hair out And it
Yeah,
was all split ends and all that stuff, right? And they're like, I don't want to cut my hair.
that's when you need to cut it. That's
And I'm
listen.
like, baby, you need to cut all that off.
That's what I tell people, and I tell them like, you could feel where you need to cut it, and they're like, "Well, I want to save some." I'm like, "Okay, if you save it, it's just gonna get worse. It's not gonna help the issue that's happening." So it's like
Right.
I have to convince and coach them through cutting the split ends. So yes,
So
I
leading up to your surgery, like
understand.
your consultation,
Mhm.
all of these things, what were some things going through your mind when you found out that, okay, and if you don't mind sharing, why did
Yeah.
you have to have a hysterectomy in the first place?
Yes, so I had to have a hysterectomy because I had fibroids as big as the fibroids stretched my uterus to the size of a 6 month pregnant person. So my uterus was huge. So how I discovered that, because I'm a advocate for my health, because before that they would just tell me I have fibroids, but it's okay. It's okay. And I'm like, okay, this is not okay, because I'm waking up and I'm feeling something poke out my stomach. Like, it's not okay. So I kept on telling them like, I need you guys to check. I need you guys to get an ultrasound, see what's going on. So not until the third attempt, I actually got a second opinion. And the second opinion, basically, that doctor, she told me, you need to get this taken out. She's like, but she gave me options. But the option that was best for me was to get a hysterectomy, because if I did not, it was just going to grow again. Like if they removed the fibroids, it was just going to grow again. So at the time, also, I didn't plan on having any more kids. So it was like, okay, I might as well. But I had issues with bleeding. Like I was bleeding severely. So I had to get on a birth control. And that birth control caused other issues to happen. And I'm like, okay, I don't want birth control anymore, but I don't want to get pregnant. And, so it's just a whole bunch of different emotions and things just going in my head. So she gave me a month to kind of think about it. I scheduled my appointment, and during that month, I I don't know. I think when it got closer to getting the surgery that week of, I was like, okay, should I do this? Mind you guys, I am a newly married woman. So I've been married for 2 years, a little over 2 years. So me and my husband, we don't have kids together. So of course that's playing in my head like, okay, should I get this hysterectomy, or should I not get this hysterectomy and maybe possibly have a baby with my husband? And what reassured me was him telling me, your health is more important than that. And when he told me that, that's when I'm like, okay, I don't have to feel the pressure of not having a hysterectomy, getting rid of these fibroids. And he's okay with it. Like, he's okay with it. And as long as he's okay with it, it doesn't matter who else was not okay with it, because of course family wants you to have kids with, you got to have a baby with. I'm like, okay, my health is more important. So after the hysterectomy, they released me. I went home. 3 days later, I had pressure in my head. I didn't know what was going on. They told me, that's normal, you just had the surgery. And I'm like, okay, again, that's not normal, because I'm an advocate of myself. So I went to the ER. And no, before that, I took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was high. They told me to monitor it, take pain reliever. None of that helped. My headache was still there. The pressure was still in my head. My blood pressure was still going up. I went to the ER. At first, they were like, "You just had surgery. This is normal." And I'm like, "Sir, like, please just do blood work. You need to do something. Like, this is not normal. Like, I don't feel normal." So he finally did blood work, found out that my hemoglobin was at a 6. The hemoglobin, I guess when it's critical, is 5. So I was just, if I waited longer, I probably would not have been here today. And I had to get a blood transfusion. So I say all that because what triggered me to be anemic, to lose blood, was me having the surgery, My fibroids was taking all my blood. So when they removed the fibroids, I lost all this blood and blood wasn't circulating to my brain. So I say all that to say you have to be an advocate for yourself. And a lot of times when it comes to hair loss, people come to me because their hair is falling out. But it's really the core. I figure out the core of what's going on. And that's the opportunity to say, hey, be an advocate of yourself. Go to the doctor. Go get blood work done. It's bigger than just your hair loss. It's like bigger than your hair loss.
That
So, yeah.
is.
May I have your attention, please?
So yeah. So yeah, I would just say it's like just bigger. It's bigger than the hair loss. And I always, any person that I do a free scalp analysis.
Wow.
But that's my opportunity to educate people about their health.
Y'all, so we just gonna unpack this a little bit. Look, I had to mute because I came in the library to do some work.
Oh no, you did.
I did, girl, that's just what I do. But I love the fact that you're encouraging people and admonishing people to be an advocate. You got to speak up for yourself and pay attention to your own body. So I didn't have to get a blood transfusion, but I almost was going to have to because I had, after the hysterectomy, I had a abscess that was actually leaking. And they like, oh, well, you know, take some pain pills. I'm not a pain popper, right? Pain pill popper.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a Percocet, and I normally could take half. It wasn't working. I said, something ain't right.
Right.
And if I did not advocate, if I did not listen to my body, same here. I 9 times out of 10 would not be sitting here because I ended up being in the hospital for 2 whole weeks fighting.
Wow.
Vomiting blood, grainy, coffee, all of the things because I started developing pneumonia. If I could have had a picture of that IV pole with all of the things that were up there trying to fight infection, and they were like, we're so glad that you came because it was getting ready to erupt.
Wow.
And you could have been septic.
Yep.
Like that quick, if I would have been like, oh, let me just sleep it off. I just had surgery. No. So I love that you said, speak up for yourself, advocate for yourself, and don't let people just tell you no. Like, oh, you just had surgery. It's normal. Baby, this ain't normal.
Right.
What's normal about my head feeling like I'm weak and I can't function, my blood pressure high and all of these? What was going to be normal about me having to get a blood transfusion after having a total hysterectomy?
Right.
And I think a lot of times because of the health disparities and different things, we shouldn't even have to ask more than one time.
Right.
To get seen or to even be acknowledged that I'm telling you what's going on with me because I'm with me more than you with me, okay?
Right.
And so thankfully you're here. Thankfully you advocated for yourself. And so all those mixed emotions leading up to the hysterectomy, and then what did you feel after having the surgery, like after this whole emergency ordeal and everything? Because I know for me, I felt a sense of loss, even though I didn't want more children. I still felt a sense of loss. I felt less of a woman at one point. That dang, I don't have my reproductive organs. And you being a newlywed couple, and like you said earlier, you and your husband no kids, but for him to say, you know what, your health is more important. Y'all, that's love right there, because that's the type of support you need, even if and when you experience any of the menopausal changes or anything. My husband has been a support. Now, we had to learn together because some things I couldn't communicate to him because I didn't really know what was going on. So I'm looking at him, he looking at me, we looking at each other, and we like, what's up? The more I was learning and the more we could explore together on this journey without me shutting him out, I'm aggravated, I'm feeling a sense of grief. What were some of the emotions after all of the emergency and all of those things? What were you feeling?
So I would say me, I noticed, okay. So a period of time, mind you, I was out for almost 3, 4 weeks. And the last weeks I was home by myself. So that's when like major thoughts just start appearing. Like I was just thinking too much. I was thinking like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Oh my gosh, did I have to do that? Like, did I have other options? And then getting phone calls from people that are close to me that kind of know what I did. They're like, "Why did you do that? Aren't you planning on having more kids?" So it just had me like in a moment of like I kind of felt regret, but then I thought about it, and when I thought about the whole thing that transpired and how I feel now, I was like, dang, like now I have more energy. Now, like I can do certain things that I didn't or wasn't able to do. And then even now, the only time I think about it is when I see babies. And I'm like, before I ain't care about, like, I'm like the babies. I ain't care about the babies. But now it's like when I see newborns, or if I see somebody that's pregnant, or if I see a newlywed couple that's having a baby, it made me think like, dang, I ain't going to be able to have kids anymore for real.
I
Even though I don't want kids, but it's just that thought, like
is,
knowing.
and the thing is, women who would be telling me like, "Oh, people do this all the time," and I'm looking at them, but you didn't. So
Right.
you don't know what I'm feeling at this moment, and
Mhm.
you don't sit in it forever,
Yeah.
right? It's the thought of you work through the transition, but we're not denying that, okay, there was a sense of grief or regret or, oh man, that could, right. But then we know that we can't sit there or stay there because it'll be a quick down spiral that of something that we cannot change because neither one of us can go back and be like, can you please give me my uterus back and put that
That
back
might
intact? Like they
yeah.
be looking like, okay, she's delusional. She need to be in a psych ward. And so in moving forward, because this library, they're gonna put me out in a minute. Um, what intrigued you to go into being a trichologist?
Good question. So I get this all the time. So I had experienced hair loss just due to traction alopecia, me wearing tight braids and weave. Like I was your weave braid queen. Every week, every other week, I had a new style. So and it's another layer to that too. So because of that, I was going through a whole phase like, what am I gonna do? I cannot wear my hair. I gotta wear my weave. So a friend of mine, she kind of gave me suggestions of different essential oils. So I did my own research about essential oils and how that helps grow hair. And then I stumbled upon trichology. And I'm like a low-key nerd. I love research. I love science. So so I was like, this will be perfect because I'm like a beauty girl, but then I don't want to do style hair, but I want to learn like how hair grows. So I did that. I did those courses. But the other layer of it is an emotional portion to it too. I always felt like hair was me. But I used hair because I used to have really severe acne. So I used hair to kind of cover me up, cover my face. And I was very insecure about myself because of just, past stuff. But I was insecure about myself and I used hair to kind of cover me. That was my mask, basically.
Wow.
Yes.
That is, look, we're going to have to dive into this even more,
Yeah.
y'all, because we're going to have to do like a whole separate recording.
Yeah.
Have your attention, please.
So I would say stay tuned for part two because it's deeper and people don't realize that it's so much
It
involved.
is so much deeper because that's deep.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all stay tuned because we're gonna do part two because these people gonna put me out in 3 minutes. But I want to ask, what are three things if someone is experiencing thinning hair loss? What are three things they can do now? You all, she does offer a free scalp consultation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she's gonna share her information in
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yes. Because we on the timer, okay? So real quick, the 3 things I will tell people to do that are experiencing hair loss. Make sure you get your blood work. Make sure you find out what you're deficient in, and make sure that you use those supplements to keep everything balanced. There's more, but those are the top 3 for now.
Top 3 for now.
Yes. And then
Nicole, how can people connect with you?
yes, you can reach out or you connect with me on social media. On Instagram, it's the hair growth guru __. Same thing on Facebook, TikTok, and all that. So it's the hair growth guru __.
Okay, so look, you're gonna let me know what day between I'm talking about this month, okay?
Yeah,
It's History Month.
yeah.
What other day you're available? You can text me.
Okay.
You're available to record because I want to dive into this conversation because are we really covering up something else and masking
Mm,
because of our hair? Like whoever thought that the mask could be your hair?
yep. It was mine.
To cover up the hurt, to cover up the scars, to cover up all of the things that's feeling no self-worth and all of these things. Like y'all, this is a deeper conversation, but we want to encourage you. Connect with her so that you can get more tips. Make sure you're following her because this is deep, because we are deficient in so many things. We deficient in the word, we deficient in prayer, we deficient in vitamins, DCBA, whatever ones, right? All the things. So you all stay tuned because part 2 gonna be dropping right along with this on another day. And she's gonna let me know what day she wanna record because these people finna put me out. They're gonna come on this door and be like, it's 5 o'clock. So Nicole, thank you. Let's do
Mm. All right. Thank you. What's wrong? It's done. We're good.